In World War II, victory depended on more than speed or firepower. It depended on confidence. Pilots needed to trust their aircraft. Bomber crews needed to believe they would survive the mission. And soldiers on the ground needed to know help would arrive from the sky. One aircraft delivered that confidence more than any other. It was the P-47 Thunderbolt. Its greatest advantage was not what it destroyed, but what it made people believe.
Hope. Stick around, because what you're about to discover will change how you see World War II air combat forever. The Republic P-47 Thunderbolt was one of the heaviest single-engine fighter planes ever built during World War II. Pilots nicknamed it the Jug because it looked like a milk jug with wings. It weighed about 7 tons when fully loaded, which is heavier than some modern cars. The P-47 first flew in combat in 1943 and quickly earned a reputation that spread through every Allied base in Europe. But here's what most people miss. The P-47's greatest weapon wasn't its 8 machine guns or its ability to dive at incredible speeds. Its real power was something you couldn't measure in bullets or bombs. It was the confidence it gave to every Allied soldier who saw it in the sky. So what made the P-47 so tough? The answer starts with its engine. Unlike many fighter planes that used liquid-cooled engines, the P-47 had a massive Pratt & Whitney R2800 double wasp 18-cylinder radial engine. This engine sat in front of the pilot like a wall of steel cylinders. The radial engine had a major advantage over liquid-cooled engines. It could tolerate much more damage. If enemy bullets hit the engine, they often just damaged one or a few cylinders, but the engine could keep running on the remaining cylinders. The plane also had armor plating around the cockpit and self-sealing fuel tanks. The designers built the P-47 to take punishment and keep flying. Based on what we know from engineering reports, every design choice pointed toward one goal: bringing pilots home alive, no matter what hit them. Combat footage and photographs from World War II show P-47s returning from missions with damage that would have destroyed other planes. We're talking about holes big enough to stick your head through, wings with huge chunks missing, and tail sections barely hanging on. Historical records show P-47s returning with hundreds of bullet holes. The pilot walked away without a scratch. One documented case shows a P-47 that had its propeller damaged by enemy fire or had an 8-inch diameter hole blown through it. The pilot flew back and landed safely. Another pilot flew over 100 miles back to base despite losing oil and having no forward visibility. These weren't rare lucky breaks. This happened mission after mission. Mechanics at airfields grew used to seeing P-47s roll in looking like Swiss cheese. They'd patch them up and the same plane would fly again the next day. Pilots who flew the P-47 told stories that sound almost impossible. One pilot described his engine being hit during combat. Part of the engine was destroyed, but the R2800 radial engine kept running on its remaining cylinders. He made it home. Another pilot, Lieutenant Cliff Sari, took a direct hit from German anti-aircraft fire that shattered his oil tank. Oil covered his entire windshield. He couldn't see forward at all. His wingman guided him back to base, over 125 miles away. Sari flew on instruments for 50 minutes, then stuck his head out the cockpit window during landing to see the runway. He landed safely. In interviews after the war, P-47 pilots said the same thing over and over. They knew their plane would protect them. This confidence changed how they fought. They could push harder, dive steeper, and press attacks longer because they trusted their aircraft to survive the punishment. For soldiers fighting on the ground, seeing P-47s overhead meant something special. Ground forces faced constant danger from enemy aircraft, artillery, and tanks, but when they heard the distinctive rumble of P-47 engines, they knew help had arrived. The P-47 could carry bombs and rockets to attack enemy positions. More importantly, it could survive the intense anti-aircraft fire that protected those positions. Ground troops watched P-47s dive through walls of enemy fire, drop their bombs, and pull up trailing smoke but still flying. One soldier wrote in a letter home that watching P-47s attack enemy tanks made him feel like the Allies couldn't lose. Based on what we know from letters and diaries, this feeling was common among infantry units. Bomber crews had one of the most dangerous jobs in the war. Flying deep into enemy territory in slow, heavy bombers made them easy targets. German fighters attacked in waves, trying to shoot down as many bombers as possible. When P-47s arrived as escorts, everything changed. Bomber crews could see the distinctive shape of the Thunderbolt and knew they had protection. But it wasn't just having fighters nearby. The bomber crews knew that P-47s rarely got shot down. When German fighters attacked, the P-47s could absorb damage and keep fighting. This reliability gave bomber crews hope that they'd make it home. A bomber pilot later recalled that just seeing P-47s join the formation made his whole crew breathe easier. German pilots quickly learned to respect the P-47. German fighters like the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and Focke-Wulf Fw-190 were excellent aircraft, fast and deadly, but they weren't built like the P-47. A few well-placed hits could bring down a German fighter. The P-47 could take dozens of hits and still fight back. German pilots discovered that their cannon shells would punch through a P-47 without stopping it immediately. According to accounts from both sides, German fighters would attack a P-47, score numerous hits, and watch it keep flying. This created a psychological problem for German pilots. They needed multiple passes to down a single P-47, but each pass exposed them to the Thunderbolt's 850 caliber machine guns. The P-47's toughness meant German pilots faced a fighter that simply wouldn't go down easily, which could have made them more cautious in combat. The P-47's durability changed how pilots approached combat. Flying any fighter plane in World War II was terrifying. One bullet in the wrong place could kill you instantly. But P-47 pilots developed a different mindset. They knew their plane could take hits that would kill other fighters. This knowledge made them braver and more aggressive. They'd press attacks longer, chase enemies further, and take risks that other pilots avoided. This aggressive fighting style put more pressure on German forces. Based on what we know from combat reports, this could imply that P-47 units often achieved higher victory rates, not just because of the plane's capabilities, but because pilots fought with greater confidence and determination.
The P-47's impact on morale spread beyond just the people who saw it fly. Stories about the Thunderbolt's toughness traveled through the Allied forces quickly. Soldiers told stories about P-47s coming home despite impossible damage. These stories grew and spread, creating a legend around the aircraft. New pilots arriving in Europe heard these stories before they ever sat in a P-47 cockpit. Ground troops in different areas heard about the flying tanks protecting other units. Historical records show the P-47 had an exceptionally low loss rate of only 0.7% per mission, which means that out of every 1,000 sorties, only 7 P-47s were lost. This remarkable survival rate reinforced the aircraft's reputation. The P-47's reputation boosted confidence across the entire Allied military, even among people who never saw one in person. The psychological impact was enormous.
The P-47 became more than just an airplane. It turned into a symbol of Allied technological superiority and industrial might. The plane represented American engineering and manufacturing power. Each P-47 rolling off the assembly line showed that the Allies could build better, stronger, and more capable machines than the enemy. For Allied forces, this mattered deeply. Wars aren't just won with weapons. They're won with belief, determination, and confidence. The P-47 gave Allied forces something to believe in. When a pilot climbed into that cockpit, when a soldier saw it overhead, or when a mechanic patched up another impossible repair, they all felt the same thing. The Allies were going to win this war. That feeling, that confidence, was as valuable as any weapon. The P-47 Thunderbolt destroyed thousands of enemy aircraft and vehicles, but its greatest achievement might be something that never shows up in statistics. It gave hope to people fighting a terrible war far from home. It proved that good engineering and smart design could save lives. Most importantly, it showed that sometimes the best weapon is the one that brings your people home safely. The men who flew the P-47, fought under its protection, or kept it flying all shared something special. They knew they had an advantage the enemy couldn't match. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what surprised you most about the P-47. And please subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories from history that you won't hear anywhere else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.